Hi, my name is Lathika Pai, and I'm the country head for venture capital and private equity partnerships in India. We have with us today Mohandeep Singh, the founder of Soft Solvers, one of our Emergex winners from Malaysia. Mohandeep, really, really good to see you here today and also connect with you. Clearly, we spoke a few months ago, and in the few months, I've already seen some very interesting growth that Solve Solvers has. Tell us
Thanks, thanks.
about
Good to be here.
great. Tell us about Soft Solvers and why did you start it and what do you do today?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for me being here. SoftSolver is a company which focuses on building software applications for businesses. Or, long time back we had a tagline called "Automate your business." Of course, it's nowadays that doesn't look that sexy, right? So things have changed, but essentially that is what we do. We started with a lot of different industries. We did projects on CRMs, ERP, those things. So recently, what we are doing is a product, a suite of products rather, specifically created for insurance industry. If you see, insurance industry is, I think, is one of the last ones which yet to have a huge amount of disruption in terms of their automation and all. Lots of things are still in a pretty old shape. People are still running, AS400 and COBOL and those kind of systems, and customers expect so much, and these guys can't really deliver. So this is one we feel is one of the big disruption which will happen in next 5 to 10 years across the board, and we want to be in that. We had some experience previously with working with some of the insurance guys, and we saw as an opportunity. And last year we launched this Agilix as a product in Malaysia and Singapore. And of course, there's a lot of plans going forward.
Wow, there was a flashback when you said AS400 and COBOL. Amazing. I mean, the fact is that those were really, really robust, solutions that they've lasted for so long. But
Sure. Yeah.
clearly, I think there is huge room for bringing in point solutions like you have with Agilix. What do you see as a USP of Agilix? Why are insurance companies leveraging your product?
See, two, three things are there. The first one is, of course, there are so many IT companies. Why companies don't create this kind of products? The thing is, two. One is the regulatory environment. Industry is such whereby everything is highly regulated. The central banks and all organizations actually take care of almost everything. You cannot go wrong a little bit here also. That could be one kind of, we can say, is a hurdle for in front of a lot of IT or tech startups who wants to do things on the insurance side. Though it is all changing, but it's still, that is one of the thing which we are. Secondly is, if you look at the Asia Pacific, there are small so many countries, and every country is very different. And that is another thing which a lot of people actually face a problem in terms of how do we do. If we go into one country, it's too small. If we go into all country, then it's too difficult. Because so we are not just straight away started, right? We are here in this Asia Pacific for last almost 15 years, and we have done projects in so many different countries. So when we see that this kind of a need is there, and with our whatever bit of experience we had in insurance in last few years, and we thought that this is something which we really can offer. And when we started talking to the people, actually it was quite a eye opener in that sense, that there is so much requirement, so much potential is there, and yet not many people are doing. Majority of insurance companies and even the brokers level also, they build their own solutions which is running for last like 15-20 years. Some are even older than that. And since there are no off the shelf kind of products, or not enough off the shelf kind of products, these people are just continue using that same software. That's where when we say, hey, we will give you the latest stuff in terms of cloud and SaaS and mobile and all those things, and we can still make sure everything is regulated as per what the regulatory guys want, that itself actually become a very big plus point when we go there and say regulations are all there, plus the latest stuff. let's do it. And tons of good response which we are getting from majority of these guys.
No, that's a very, very important point you mentioned, right? The regulatory bit. This is not your typical CRM software that you
Yeah.
can, anywhere. So it must be, you today you're in Malaysia, you're in Singapore. What does it take for you to cross borders? Do you need permission? Do you need to understand what the regulatory environment is? Does your software need to be, made, are there major changes, minor changes? Because that is also going to be a limitation of sorts if you want to scale, right? So it'll be
Yeah, yeah,
interesting to.
yeah. Okay. Two, three things are there here. One is, of course, cloud. Cloud actually allows you to go wherever you want to go. Only thing provided is cloud is should exist in that country. Like some of the countries here in Asia Pacific doesn't even have local cloud provider. Those could be a bit of a challenges. But other than that, actually speaking, we started from Malaysia and Singapore. And I mean, I don't want to say Malaysia and Singapore are great or what, but the regulatory environment among the Asia Pacific, Malaysia and Singapore are quite at the top. So when we follow these regulations and then we go to the another countries, because we have tried with another three countries, when we go there, we more or less meet all of their requirements, which actually is a very plus point. Yes, there are changes, there are differences, but differences are not so much in terms of that I have to modify my software. Differences are more in terms of processes. Certain things are not doing this way, or certain reports have to be in this way. This data has to be submitted in this way. So you won't say insurance is insurance, right? It's not so much difference in terms of the way it works, but the processes, some of the things, regulatory reports, data to be submission, those are the things which mostly varies from country to country. So it's not that big deal actually in terms of that when we move to another country it's totally too much different. This is one aspect of it. Technically it's not that huge amount of changes. The second aspect which is also very very important is in terms of the regulatory guys. Regulatory guys don't really regulate us. We as a software provider are not regulated by any of these guys, but all those financial institutes are. So in that way we work very closely with those guys to make sure everything whatever is needed by the regulator from those guys, we make sure it does. If you see, it's like a typical ERP implementation where you change certain templates and reports and all those things. Rest more or less ERPs are almost there. You may configure certain things. So far looks like we are going in that direction, but we'll see how it goes. Still very early stage for us. It's like less than it's kind of a year, about to be an year with this, but so far things looking pretty good in that sense.
Oh no, it's then even more amazing, Mondeep, because within a year you have 14 million,
Policies.
right, policies that you're managing and monitoring. Now, do you believe that your focus would be going deeper and getting more of the market in Malaysia and Singapore, or are you kind of going wide, casting a wider net geographically? And what are those countries that you're looking to go get
Sure,
into?
sure. I mean, we started from Malaysia, Singapore because we have our offices in these two countries and we can go ourselves out and talk to the potential customers and partners, right? But the plan is to go the whole Asia wide. To start with is the Asia Pacific. We have identified 7 countries where we want to go around this, the Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and all these countries, including India as well. We are planning huge thing for India. And plan was the first year, which was the last year actually, that we wanted to do things on our own so that we learn. We learn how to do things, we understand, we do certain deployments, got some customers. And plan B, not plan B, next stage is, which is this year, is go and build a team of, not team of, a network of partners around the region. So we started that in January, and right now we are talking to at least 15 to 20 potential partners around the region, who basically are like SI companies or the guys, IT resellers, who actually can become our part in that particular country. And that is what we want to do. Next 3 years is purely in Asia Pacific, and then after that we'll see beyond. Either we'll go towards Australia or New Zealand, that side, or we may go towards the European side, or we may even go to the US, which is the biggest market for this. But next 3 years, I mean, right now we are not looking beyond that, is Asia Pacific, these 7 countries.
Great. How is I mean, let me put it this way. I think clearly the pandemic has not stopped you. It
or
is.
definitely no.
If anything, it is really
Accelerated.
accelerated it.
Yeah.
So I think that that's something to look forward to. And how are you finding the ability to scale? Right, one is it's great that you have scaled, but the technology and the team has to keep up. So
Yeah.
what do you believe are some of the challenges, and how are you planning to mitigate those?
I think there are lots of challenges. It's not that easy. Of course, I won't say. I mean, then I'll be fooling myself if I say that. There are a lot of challenges. But one thing which we have realized is, along with the Azure also, a lot of these guys, the technology provider, the big guys, are actually creating a lot of those kind of platforms which help us in doing things in bit easier way. Like example I can give you, we are exploring right now working with that Power Automate thing in Azure, right? So that actually helps us in managing our deployments, releases, patches, security updates. A lot of those things were actually not were still. It's quite a massive work. You do little bit something wrong here and there, things can go. I mean, especially because it's a regulatory stuff, right? So a lot of these software actually are created in a way to make these things easier. But thing is that a lot of times we ourselves also feel scared to try new things, which I think I normally tell people that at least give it a try. But that actually is one barrier which a lot of people don't realize. They don't try because they feel scared, and then they keep on doing things the old way, like we were doing the last year. Actually, this whole thing, Power Automate thing, started this year when we are exploring this one. And I think this will take us a pretty good way in terms of our deployments and making sure everything is compliant in terms of regulatory. And that is what I can suggest over here.
Great, Mohandeep. Very, very nice to hear, how well Soft Solvers and the Agilix platform has done in the past 12 months. Look forward to working with you closely as a part of the Highway to 100 Unicorns EmergeX program. Thank you so much for being with us
Sure.
this afternoon.
Thank you
Thanks.
very much. Thanks for me having here.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.